Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Doktor.
Suara saya jelas
Jelas.
Alhamdulillah. Ni tak ada mic ni. You all masuk through you future ke?
Yeah, through your future.
Nurul. Slow je suara Nurul.
Oh, ya ke?
Through you future So tak ada because yang last week saya post dalam group, dia kata ada problem you future, ada connection problem. Kalau ada siapa-siapa ada problem dengan connection, please check your email. Saya ada email to everyone. Kalau tak ada juga nanti saya share dalam WhatsApp group
Okay, boleh.
Sampai dah dengar.
Oh, 7 orang. You ada kelas ke pagi ni?
Saya tak ada.
Ada.
Yang lain ada kot.
Betul. Ada.
Ada tadi doktor, pukul 10.
Pukul 10. Itulah. Dah 25 minit dah ni. Dah 26 minit. Kita mulakan kelas dengan umul kitab Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Amin. So, siapa yang masuk manage to access the class through UFuture? Gunakan UFuture-nya link yang saya dah append the link in the UFuture, ataupun you all ada problem. Sometimes UFuture pun ada juga accessibility problem kalau tengah hari.
Boleh je doktor.
Boleh ya, Alhamdulillah. Okay, dah stable lah tu. So, for today's class, saya akan continue dengan topik 3 ya. So, topik 3, saya dah share in the WhatsApp, in the Google Classroom. The slides for topic 3 that we are going to use today is actually the one that I have improvised a little bit. So, I have already shared in the Google Classroom, okay, under Mosha's folder. So, baru 25 orang. We just wait for a few more to join in. So, sharp at 2:15, I will start the class, okay, start the lecture. But before that, just for the formality, please on your camera, I would like to capture the image of everyone here. Okay? Siapa dah masuk tu please on camera, cepat. Panjangnya rambut kamu, Mama Rizwan. Confuse saya sekejap. Kena pakai cekak. Okay, semua dah ada. Okay, Syahibul tak boleh Zulaika? Okay, Zulaika dah. Right. Okay. Kontrol macho, senyum. Okay, saya ambil Bismillah. Okay, dah. Okay, dah. Terima kasih. Okay. Now, I'll start recording. Saya akan start recording. And then I'll start presenting. Right. Okay. Sekejap while they are processing, saya nak on ini sekejap. Okay. So I'll go straight to the slides presentation. Can you see this slide?
Yes, doktor.
Yes.
Okay, Alhamdulillah.
Nampak.
So topic 3 ya, kita akan proceed with topic 3 or chapter 3. Chapter 3 is about the tools and improvement cycle. Okay. For the tools and improvement cycle, under topic 3, these are the content. Okay. So we will look at the measurement of quality, the cost of quality, tool for quality design. So basically for the tools for improvement, in this syllabus or in this topic, it has divided into two uh, two basic function of application. Satu, the one that you can use during the research and development. Another tools, set of tools, the one that you can use during the process improvement for the operation that is already in-house. Okay. So we will look into it in detail later on, okay? Then we will touch a bit on the 5S practice. Okay, I know that you all are very familiar with the 5S, but we will still touch a little bit because it is actually one of the known important tool in any activities. So before you initiate any activities, improvement plan ke, be it R&D activities ke, the 5S must come first, okay? Lean ke, TQM ke, the 5S must come first. Then touch a bit on the business process re-engineering and followed by the QCC ataupun quality control circle. So measurement of quality. I emphasize on the measurement of quality ni I think numerous times. And why I have to mention it over and over, because for you to do any improvement, you have to target or you have to focus on things that is measurable before and after. Then only you can see the results. So it says here that measurement of quality is about process management. How do you manage the process? Based upon reliable information. What do they mean by the reliable information? Maklumat or data yang boleh diguna pakai. So it means here that things that you can measure, you can see or measure the performance before and after. Yang boleh diguna pakai, okay? Reliable. So you have to select data and indicators that best represent the factors that determine customer satisfaction. So in this particular case, you need to select the indicators that best represent the factors determine customer satisfaction. So one of the common or classic representation to indicate your process or your performance is actually very good ataupun good indicator is the productivity. So productivity basically good output versus the input. Input can be as many as you can based on your production target or goals, but output also can be the figures according to your goal, but how many good output is actually. That will be the indicator of your production operation or process. So measurement as a basis for improvement. Right. So measurement as a basis for improvement. Nampak tak the point kat sini? So in the earlier chapter or topic, I mentioned that the matrix of measurement can be in the form of apa dia? Siapa masih ingat? Can be in the form of what? Can be in the form of time scale, okay, or cycle time. It can be in the form of space, can be in the form of manpower pun boleh. Sekejap saya ada benda nak interlude jap You hold on for a while. Okay. Semua dah ada. So it can be in terms of the number of manpower, the cycle time, okay, the time taken to complete certain tasks. After you have done the improvement, how long does it take to do the same process after the improvement has been made? Okay, by right it should be reduce cycle time. So that is called the improvement. So cost of poor quality. So the implication of any poor quality will be reflected in terms of the cost factor. That is normal or common in most of the quality measurement. When they want to measure quality, usually whatever activities that they have done, they will translate into the cost factor. This is what they call as the economic analysis there. Okay, like inspection costs. You shouldn't have incurred so many or so much inspection. Thus, so for you to measure how much that have you incurred in the cost for the inspection, I mean the time that you have incurred for the inspection. So from the time taken to, you translate into the cost factor. So if it is about the time taken by the manpower or operator to inspect, katalah each operator takes about 15 minutes to do the inspection. So for 15 minutes tu, you translate into the prorated cost for the operator based on their salary. Okay? Then, for the scrap and rework cost, is actually the cost that is also incurred due to the reworking process. Same thing goes to the scrap cost. Okay? Sekejap Right. So continue. Sorry, banyak interlude, banyak ni distraction. Ni macam-macam. Next, then after that, customer returns. This is about the, okay, let's say if you sell off your products and then the product has given problem, then the customer has to return the product. So that is the customer return cost, okay, in the form of penalty ke whatever lah. So customer returns in the form of penalty. Usually when customer return the goods to you, you have to replace kan. You have to replace the part ataupun you give certain number of discount in term of cost. That is the cost incurred due to the customer return. And warranty claims is another issue pula. After sales service ataupun after sales punya complaint under the warranty claim issues. That can be very, would say that very nasty in terms of the claim though. So next, this is the one of the quite popular model to show the importance of quality. So in terms of the cost and market share, in terms of the company's reputations, in terms of the product liability, in terms of the internal implications. Okay? Right. If you have good quality product, definitely you will gain reputation in terms of market or company reputations. You will gain reputation in the market. Okay? Once you have trust among the customers or your users, therefore it will help to increase the volume of your output or your production because you will receive so many orders from your customer. So if you manage to produce in a larger volume, then you have so many play areas on the pricing. Okay? So you can offer at a slightly lower price because you already have volume to sell off, okay? And then in terms of lowering the cost, so if you have improved your quality, it will reflect in terms of your productivity, okay? So if you have good output versus input, it means that if let's say you have 100% good output at the end of the process, so you don't have any rejection cost. So lower your overall production cost. So with that note also, if no rejection, that means no rework, no scrap, and also no warranty claim cost. So you will lower your quality cost. In overall, it will reflect into your profit margin. So it will increase your profit. At the end of the day, it helps to increase the company's profit, the company's turnover, okay, in terms of business. Now, what are the consequences of poor quality? So you will have a poor image or bad image and bad reputation, okay? And with that, it will reflects to the implication will be loss of business, okay? In terms of product liability, so due to damages or injuries resulting from either fault design or poor workmanship, okay, so you are liable for the product though. So you have to replace, you have to do the necessary repairs or rework, whatever, whatnot, okay? Productivity will be lower due to defective parts or substandard raw materials and tooling. So if you happen to using substandard material, maksudnya material yang of lower quality or lower standard, then it will be reflected into the output you. It becomes the defective items, okay? So cost will increase due to rework and replacement. So that is very direct. Okay, you replace, you have to incur cost. So cost of quality. So I did mention also in the earlier topic. So under the cost of quality, it can be in the form of prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure cost, and external cost. Okay. So what are the things under the prevention cost? So prevention cost is about cost that is related to reducing or preventing the potential for defects such as quality improvement program, training, etc. So it is also for the prevention cost, the maintenance cost also can be part of the prevention cost. Okay. Appraisal cost. So this is a cost related to measuring, evaluating and auditing materials, parts, product, services to assess the conformance with the quality standard. Example, the inspection equipment, testing lab, etc. Like say you are the ISO certified company, so the cost that you have to pay for the external auditor to come and audit your organization, that is part of the or fall under the appraisal cost. Also for you to do the reliability testing, let's say the periodical testing. So for the car or automotive industries, the normal inspection or the what they call as fall under the appraisal cost is you have to send for testing on the yearly basis. So this testing is actually part of the testing that is compulsory for all the automotive parts. Okay, compulsory test. But certain organisation, they don't put under the appraisal cost. They letak bawah prevention cost. So whatever it is, we just follow whatever that we have here, okay, in the syllabus. So internal failure cost, example there, the cost incurred of producing defective parts. So any parts that produce, any rejects that produce in-house, that is categorized under the internal failure cost. External costs are the costs incurred to fix problem after delivery. So this is best referred to the warranty claim cost. the return goods. Okay, you buy and then customer complain and return, and then you have to replacement cost. Okay, so of course the loss of goodwill maksudnya, let's say you have good business with this A particular company, with that problems that you have faced in your organization or for that particular product, it may tarnish your reputation. So loss of goodwill ni maksudnya in the future, perhaps they have no longer trust in your product, they will go for the other option. Now, this is the tools that you can use during the research and development stage, what they call as the quality function deployment, QFD. It is a very strong and powerful tool, and it helps to actually to negate, to if not eliminate, it can reduce the number of problems along the way before the products that you have developed goes into the production process. Okay, so customers' requirement are met throughout the product design process. How do they get the customers' requirement in the first place? Of course, they can do the survey ataupun they can get the feedback from the local markets. What are the latest trend now? Let's say color trend. What are the latest color trend? Sekarang color warna apa color trend? You know that? Apa dia color trend? Designers should know this because each year kan dia ada color blocks lah, pastel color lah, the what they call the grayscale color lah. Okay, so those are also considered as the customer's requirement and the latest trend that you have in the market. So where does this QFD started? Okay, QFD or quality function deployment is a philosophy started in 1972 at Mitsubishi Kobe Shipyard. Okay, so it is about planning and communication tools. Okay, it helps reduces time needed for new product development. How does it helps? Because it has the systematic way of doing the R&D. You have the standard ataupun the modus operandi is there. Okay, so it is basically a voice of the customer. We will do the example, then only you will understand what do they meant by the voice of customer. So definition is done by Dr. Yoji Akao, who originally developed QFD in Japan back in 1966. He said that it is a method to transform user demands into design quality, to deploy the functions forming quality, and to deploy methods for achieving the design quality into subsystems and component parts, and ultimately to specific elements of the manufacturing process. Okay, maybe it's a bit lengthy in terms of me. So it is a comprehensive quality design method that seeks out spoken and unspoken customer needs. Okay, so the customers verbatim in terms of the positive quality that wows the customer. So you have to provide the wow factor and the basic quality requirement, and yet it has the wow factor in your design. For example, the latest phone now, the Samsung, maybe you can open and then the screen will be flat. Contoh, okay, maybe it's not latest now. Atau you boleh fold into smaller and then it is a quarter punya screen. So you buka-buka jadi one single harmonized homogenized screen, for example. So you need to translate this into design characteristic and deliverable actions. For example, if the customer wanted to have a light bicycle, how do you translate that information, the light bicycle, into your product design, your bicycle in product design? Okay, how do you translate that? So kalau dia nak light, so immediately when you wanted to design this product based on the customer feedback nak light, so you will go for maybe aluminium frame, or you go for the alloy punya frame ataupun composite, so graphite, whatever. Okay, so that will be the first thing that will come into your mind. Now, if you want to use composite, it may be slightly more expensive. You want to do this, so you have to juggle into of pricing pula. So you have to look at which market segment you want to sell the product pula. Okay, next, builds and delivers the quality product or service by focusing the various business functions towards achieving the common goal, the customer satisfaction. Usually customer will come up with several needs that they would like to see in the new product design though. So the areas of application there. So it is applied in a wide variety of services such as consumer products, military needs, and emerging technology products. Okay. So the technique is also used to identify and document competitive marketing strategies and tactics. So what are the strategies and what are the tactics that you would like to have in your company in order for you to sell your product? So it is also considered as the key practice for design of Six Sigma. Okay, bila nak pakai ni? When to use? So during the design stage. Okay, commissioning or post commissioning to translate the customer requirements into company requirements. So there are several stages that you can use the same approach, QFD ni. Nanti kita akan go through that, okay? I have the slide on those. So the technique can be used in research, in the product development, in the engineering, manufacturing, marketing and distribution areas. So how are you going to commence the QFD? Macam mana nak mula? So these are 5-stage process that commonly used for the QFD implementation or application. First, you have to identify the customer needs. How do you get it? You can obtain it from the feedbacks. You can do the survey. Sebab tu sometimes bila katalah when they want to open up the new supermarket ke hypermarket, they will conduct the survey kan. So the one that who help to do the survey tu will go from house to house within the vicinity ataupun at the community area tu, that population. They will ask you whether do you think that do you need to have a hypermarket ke whatever whatnot ke, they will ask. Okay, so that's how they get the feedback from the customer. So now, next, these requirements are then translated into technical specifications through the use of technical experts. So at this stage, the requirements become measurable. Why you need to translate the information into measurable items? Kenapa? Siapa rasa kenapa? Into measurable items. Kenapa? Siapa rasa apa? Sebab saya nak buat mini project tau based on this QFD ni. Okay. Why? Of course, it has to be something that measurable, because later on, when you want to do the mass production, you need to refer to something that is firm and reliable. So it must be measurable. Technical specification, everything, it must be measurable. So the technical specification are then turned into end product specifications. These are called critical part characteristics. So they are both necessary and sufficient to lead to an end product that meeting the customer specification. So the fourth stage is to design the process to deliver the product or services and decide how to turn the design into reality. Okay, so the final stage is to plan the activities necessary to produce the required output. This is QFD. So first identify customer needs, then translate into technical specification, so end product specification, process design and process planning. So during this process, along the way, it has its own approaches on how can you conduct these activities. Nanti kita akan tengok macam mana. So now, it is about house of quality. It says here that it is part of the quality function deployment or QFD. So QFD just now, it is more on the description. Dia cakap the customer's requirement. Lepas tu tengok in terms of technical specification. And then after that must be something measurable. And then you translate into the technical content that is meant for the mass production pula, for the end product's requirement. So how do you relate this information, all this information into one single scene ataupun graphical explanation? So the house of quality is actually graphically articulates all this information into one roof, one single piece of paper. Okay, so when fully constructed, house of quality takes shape of the roofed house. That's why it is named the house of quality. So it looks like a house with a correlation matrix as its roof, customer wants versus the product features as the main part, and the competitor evaluation as the POSH, etc. Nanti kita akan tengok ni macam mana. So for you to build the house of quality, first you have to have the customer attributes also. Okay, then you come up with the technical features that you can relate to the customer attributes. Then after that, the customer attributes, you relate to the technical features. How do you relate it? Okay, in terms of the relationship there, how strong it is, ataupun this is actually not connected at all, whatever, whatnot. So conduct an evaluation of competing products. Maksudnya, you are actually under the branding or the brand name of A. Other companies may be branding B, C and D. So you do some sort of evaluation to compare the same range of product against your product quality. So evaluate the technical features and develop the target for the new product. Determine which technical features to deploy in the product process. This will be the illustration of the house of quality. So the customer requirement will be on the, kalau you are facing me, that means on the left side of the house, okay, the pillar there. So the technical requirement will be on the top, just before the roof itself, right? But the roof part itself is actually to show the relationship among the technical requirements in terms of its close relationship between the technical requirements that you have already identified. Okay, how important it is, you can give the rating nanti. Then So you will have the planning matrix. Here planning matrix, usually you will compare whatever the requirements or based on the product that you are looking into or you are planning to do. So you are comparing against your competitors under the planning matrix. So interrelation between the requirement and the descriptor, technical descriptor. So usually, normally what people do, they will give the weightage and they will assign. Okay, from here you just multiply and then you will get the final results, data there. So how do we go about? It has the specific approach to it, okay? Bukan just simply letak saja. So 6 major components of house of quality. First, customer requirement, planning matrix just now. It is actually referring to the illustration of the house of the quality that you have seen in the previous slide just now. So technical requirement is the what's, a structured set of relevant measurable products and so forth. So the fourth is the interrelation matrix that illustrates the QFD team's perception. So kita akan tengok contoh dia. The fifth is technical correlation in terms of the role metric between the technical requirement. How does each of the element in the technical requirements related to one another? So technical priorities, you have to prioritize yang mana yang paling important or which one is actually lesser. So this is the typical format of the house of quality, okay? This is an example. Clear tak this example? Illustration. Hello?
Clear, Doctor.
Clear.
Nampak.
So, if you look at the legend or the explanation here, okay, the customer requirements, dia yang ni nak buat apa ni, projek apa, apalah Dia kata the customer envelope interface max width bleed air turbine. It's about the turbine, okay. Turbine. So, the customer, dia kata nak interface, the weight should be around 160 pounds. So, the priority, now, the priority is actually based on the feedback from the customer. Let's say you have conducted about 100 surveys and then you receive the respondent that responded to your survey also 100, katalah 100%. So in those 100 response, how many is actually providing the similar response? So from there you can do the ranking lah. So in this response, it seems that most of the customers put that the reliable is one of the important criteria in the design that they would like to see. Okay. So that means 5 ranking dia tinggi lah contohnya. Let's say the ranking is, let's say dia guna scale from 1 to 5. So you can just put. So in here, they have the illustration ataupun legend for the interaction. Kalau double X tu, that means negative. Kalau just single X, mild negative relationship. Maybe dia letak ranking 1. So mild positive, maybe dia letak ranking 2 or 3. Or 0, that means strong positive relationship. So maybe dia letak 5 ke whatever. So you can actually put the assumption there. The one example. So yang ni here, they put in terms of illustration and they do the connection. So it means here that from this diagram itself, you can see that it has 2 types of assessment. Satu, what they know as the qualitative. Qualitative macam ni lah. Okay, you just put in terms of the ranking, the relationship. But don't forget, this qualitative also can become the quantitative. When you define, let's say for strong relationship, you letak, okay, kita letak dia punya scale 5 for example, or 10. So it becomes quantitative, okay? So that's how you use and apply all the relevant knowledge that you have into the evaluationnya activities. Okay. This is another example. I don't want to go through this, but I want to go to the next slide. Okay. Semua nampak ni? Okay, dia kata your team has been charged with designing a new camera for great cameras company. Okay. So the first action is to construct the house of quality. But before you construct the house of quality, what are the first requirements or the first element that you need to have? Apa dia yang you nak kena ada? Sebelum you construct the house of quality. Apa dia nak kena ada? Nak test you tidur ke tak? Apa dia? Cepat jawab.
Customer requirement.
The
Feedback.
Customer requirement.
feedback or the customer's requirement. Pandai. Good. Okay. So let's look at what are the customer's requirement here. So for this example, the house of quality is actually will look something like this, yeah. So dia kata apa kat sini? So the first element that they want to have here is the customer wants or the customer requirements. Okay. Now, how to satisfy the customer wants? That will be part of the technical requirements that they have to translate based on what the customer wants. Okay. So these technical requirements here, so they will see pula in terms of the interrelationship dia pula. So the relationship matrix basically will interrelate between the how to satisfy the customer wants and what the customer wants. Okay, so dia akan do the relationship kat sini. So for the competitive assessment, you can also include this by doing the survey against the competitors against your product. So the competitors check against your product that you would like to develop them. So from there you can do the necessary calculation and come up with the target values and the technical liberation. Kita tengok So in this case, what they do for this example, for the what the customer wants, they put the rating here. Okay. So dia kata dia ada rating 1 to 5. Okay. So these are the list of items that the customer would like to see in the newly developed camera ni. Okay. So the customer give that, I want something that is very light. Dia kata lightweight, ringan. So it must be easy to use. I want it reliable. Senang nak guna, reliable, tahan lasak. Okay. Pakai lama-lama pun boleh. Battery don't have to charge every time. Reliable lah. So easy to hold and steady. So gambar kita letak pap terus ambil. Autofocus. Easy. Okay. And then ada pula color correction. You don't have to do the necessary adjustment. It helps to do the adjustment automatically. So this is under the customer wants. So among all the 5 points here, it has got the rating here. So the rating is actually based on the customers feedback juga. Okay, so you can actually compile and do the necessary rating. So the reliability is the top of the rating, followed by easy to use. Next is lightweight, and then easy to hold and steady. Then lastly, the color correction. Okay. So this will be placed here, in here. So next, kita tengok pula. Now we are looking into the how to satisfy the customer wants. Okay. So one of the item here, like aluminium components, you can relate to what? You rasa you boleh relate to what? Aluminium components. Just now kan dia ada items that they would like to see. So aluminium components you boleh relate kepada?
Lightweight.
Lightweight. Betul. So what about autofocus? You nak relate dengan yang mana? Ada dah jawapan dia, tapi from your understanding and your perspective, you think that you want to
Technical
relate to
features.
Kita ingat dah, low electricity, aluminium, autofocus, auto exposure, pin palette dengan ergonomic design. Kalau you lah, you nak relate dengan yang mana? Low electricity, you nak relate dengan yang mana? Lightweight, aluminium tadi. So low electricity, you rasa yang mana? Lebih kepada
Reliable.
reliable And then the autofocus, easy to use. Color correction tadi, yang auto color kan. So easy to hold and steady will be under ergonomic, insyaAllah Kita tengok nanti. Paint palette will be under the auto color, ergonomic design. Okay, auto exposure also under the autofocus. Next, so now in this example, for the relationship in your matrix, it gives it quantify the relationship tu. Okay, so here dia kata for the high relationship dia bagi scale 5. For medium relationship dia bagi scale 3. Okay, it represented by the round shape ni saja. The round with the dot inside is the high relationship. Only the single dot black in color they put as the low relationship. So just now lightweight, very low relationship dengan tadi tu. Ada satu kat sini. Siapa masih ingat? Okay, nanti kita tengok nanti in full. So they have this matrix relationship. Okay, they have the customer requirement. They also have the technical requirement that relates to the customer one tadi. How to satisfy the customer wants will be on the technical issue dia. Next. So, among all the how to satisfy customer wants or the technical issues ini, which of these requirement has got a strong relationship ataupun none, tak ada relationship langsung. Okay, so here what the example would like to highlight to you is actually just to highlight in terms of or just to emphasize for the requirements that has got a very strong relationship. Okay. It seems here that according to this example, it says that the autofocus and the electricity requirements has a very close relationship. Same thing goes to the aluminum component. Aluminum component just on its own, okay. But the low electricity and the auto exposure also has got the strong relationship. Same things about with the low electricity with the auto palette. But ergonomic and auto components is basically on its own, okay. So for the autofocus, ni ada strong, yang ni ada strong. Okay, for the auto exposure and autofocus also strong relationship. So kita tengok the next example. So how do they get this important ratings ni? Macam mana dia dapat? You rasa macam mana dia dapat ni? 22 ni. Siapa tahu? Siapa boleh bagi jawapan? It is actually comes from here. Yang tadi scale tu tadi. Previous. Okay. Dia kata kalau high relationship dia bagi 5. So kalau medium 3. Just a single circle macam ni. Kalau just single dot is 1. So let's look at the example. So tadi kat sini this point kan dia dapat 22. So 3 kali dengan 1 dapat 3. So 4 by 1 is 4. So 3, 4 jadi berapa? 7. So 5 kali dengan ni circle saja. 5 kali 3, 15. So 7 campur 15 dapat apa? 22.
22.
So sini 9 because kalau circle dia punya scale dia 3 kan. So 3 kali 3, 9. So this is 27 because kalau circle the scale that is actually provided ataupun given is 3. So 4 by 3 is 12. So 5 by 3 is 15. So jadi 27. 12 and 15, 27. So it applies to all the content here. So you akan dapat benda ni. So by doing this, So you rasa-rasa dia membantu tak you untuk prioritize and narrow down the focus of your work tu? It helps kan? Kan it helps, okay? So you can actually use the same approach for you to come up with the ataupun to make a decision for the design that you have chosen tu. You boleh buat macam ni juga. Actually this is one of the well-known and well-adoptednya approach, okay? So next. Now it's about time for you to compare between the competitors. Katalah you ada company A, company B, and then for your company, your own company, you boleh letak US ataupun us. Usually dia akan letak us, okay? So you compare against the product that you have ataupun the lightweight. So far the feedback from the customer of the company A, lightweight, dia kata good. Yang P ni poor lah, tak bagus, okay? Dia cuma bagi dua kategori saja, good and poor saja. Okay? So it helps you also to look into an overall scenario from the other perspective, from other customer company as well. Next. So this is actually the completed house of quality. Next. So how do you translate low electricity in the target technical attributes? Macam mana you nak translate that? Okay. Ni yang saya kata tadi us ni, bukan US bukan USA, US us. Us that means your company. Okay. So that's how you get the good, poor ataupun fail ke whatever lah. Okay. So low electricity here. So for you to measure low electricity, how do you want to measure? Unless you put values in it. So kat sini, it refers to 0.5 ampere. Kalau 0.5 ampere ni, bateri, kalau you pakai bateri yang 0.5 bateri tu, that means pakai single A bateri lah. Kan yang besar sikit tu. Single A bateri. 0.5. Yang size kecil tu single A. So satu bateri. So it says here aluminium components. So how far do you want to use the aluminium component? Takkan semua nak pakai aluminium component. That would be very or too expensive. So only 75% of the total parts tu of the whole product you use aluminium components. Contoh. So autofocus. So kalau nak autofocus pun must be at certain distance. So it says here that daripada jarak 2 kaki to infinity. Then only it gives you the best result or whatever result that you want. So dia kata kat sini untuk auto exposure, so you have 2 circuit, dia panggil apa? 2 circuits maybe dalam you punya circuit design tu, apa? PCB tu kan, 2 circuit PCB board tu, 2 circuit board. You have that, okay? Or 2 circuit cards inside it, okay? That is what you set in your design, okay, technically. So in terms of paint palette, how do you measure that it is good? Paint palette. So failure 1 per 10,000. So at any point of time, when you do the testing, kalau you want to check in terms of paint palette, you have to do the functional test. So when you do the testing, at any point of time, in 10,000 cuma sekali je, you akan jumpa failure. So ergonomic design in terms of the panel ranking. So you may get the feedback from the expertise. So dalam case ni, how do you get this panel ranking? From the panel ranking, so company A, B and us ni, maybe you can get the feedback from the expert, maybe the managers or the marketing department punya orang ataupun the product review punya company. Okay. So you can do the technical evaluation. Katalah yang ni 0.5 ampere, company A guna 0.7, company B guna 0.6 ampere, tapi company you yang you nak buat you guna 0.5. Okay, good. So yang ni 75%. So the usage of the material will reflect in terms of the pricing of the product tu. Okay. So just yes of course. So kalau saya bagi problem, can you actually do the necessary analysis and assessment and come up with the result tak? Rasa boleh tak? Boleh ya? Nanti kita akan tengok soalan yang saya nak bagi nanti. Okay. So next. Now, just now the house of quality that you are actually doing is actually based on the product tu per se. You can actually repeat the same process, katalah for the product, katalah dalam case ni you nak buat kereta sebiji one complete car. A car with the necessary design. The one that can listen to the voice punya instruction. Katalah customer kata, saya malas nak drive, I want auto drive. So you detect lah auto drive. How do you want to have the car with the auto drive, auto driven car, okay? So you set what are the technical requirement yang you nak, okay? You nak buat situ. So this is based on one product item. But in your design, in your product assembly, it involves several parts. You can repeat and adopt the same process to develop each individual parts that comprise to the complete assembled part tu, product tu. Faham tak? So you boleh buat untuk specific component, lepas tu you can do next level for the specific components pula, what will be the production processes dia, what will be the quality plan dia pula. So one after another, you detail out. So dia akan memudahkan kerja you. Faham tak? So far so good? So far okay. Okay. So untuk today's class, I will do all the topics. I will cover the topics. But for the next class, I will discuss in detail plus about a bit of the whatever notes that not completed yet or we have not gone through yet the class. So I will explain also in terms of the mini projects. What I would like you guys to do for the mini project nanti. Okay. So now we go to the concurrent engineering. Saya dah sampai slides number 34. So sebelum saya proceed, saya nak tengok attendance. We have 31 here. Sepatutnya ada 32 tau yang mendaftar. So now, guys, what I want you to do, okay, I would like to show you the U future. Siapa masuk melalui here? Klik here ni.
Saya.
Semua klik here ke semua klik dekat tu WhatsApp?
Saya kat U-Future.
Okay.
Saya kat WhatsApp.
Boleh kat WhatsApp. Okay, no problem. So next thing that I want you to do is actually go to the attendance report ataupun you klik dekat view ni. Saya nak whoever yang attended to this class, please tick your attendance in here. Tengok ni kita view. Okay, sekarang ni. So it says here that the point kat sini, student yang tick attendance. Ni siapa? Azizi dah tick ya?
Dah doktor.
Bagus. Okay. So
terima kasih.
please tick your attendance Ni Muhammad Zul Talha ni datang belum? Ada tak? Zul ada Zul? Zul 1, Zul 2, Zul 3, tak ada saya pangkal Adik ada
Dia
adik?
intern doktor.
Dia buat intern So adik?
Adik ada.
Adik ada. Awak tak tick adik? Sagi
Jap,
tick
jap.
lah.
Okey.
Alif ada Alif? Alif Imran. Alif 1, Alif 2.
Ada puan.
Sagi tick lah.
Alright puan.
Okay. So what about Kushairi?
Ada.
Sagi tick.
Okay.
Saifuddin?
Ada.
Okay, bagus. Syahibul Wafa? Please shout. Kalau ada. Ada, bagus. Syazwan?
Saya
Dah.
Doktor.
Zul
Tak dengar.
Zaim dah. Hafiz dah. Nur Hafizah?
Hello.
Ya.
Ah,
Nur Hafizah?
ada.
Bagus, bagus. Nur Hafizah belum tolong tik. Ada tak Nur Hafizah ya? Siapa boleh bantu rakan dia? Dia tengok Nur Hafizah ni ada tak? Nur Hafizah. Nur Hafizah 1, Nur Hafizah 2. Syaibul, why left the meeting Syaibul? What's wrong? Tak boleh ni sangkut So Nurul Izzati ada kan?
Ada, Doktor.
Sagi tik attendance ya.
Okay.
Ni Syafiq Arif ni sagi tik. Okay, so tu je lah. Kita ada 32 sepatut. So, this actually list ini memang it helps to record your attendance direct terus je. So what I need to do just verify nanti later on. But I cannot verify right now because once if I verify now, I will have problem to upload the, saya nak tunjuk you all ni, nanti saya akan problem to upload the recorded link. So what I will do nanti later, last part of it, once I have already uploaded the recorded link, the video of our today's class, then only I will verify the attendance. So basically all are there except for yang tadi tu lah yang buat internship tu. Okay. So good. So kita back dah ni. So semua faham ya? Alhamdulillah.
Faham.
Bagus. So we do concurrent engineering. Ngantuk Kejap lagi kita do concurrent engineering. So dia kata basically all major functions that contribute to getting a product to market have continuing product development involvement. So katalah if you want to wait from one stage to another stage to complete one after another, it takes longer. But now they can do concurrent engineering. So that consists of multifunctional teams from 4 to 20 members. You have more people inside it, but you work concurrently. Some of the activities you can do it simultaneously. Some of it is actually you have to wait for the others to complete first. Contohnya kalau you nak assemble tire, you have to make sure that the hub is ready for you to fix the tire on, kan? So you have no choice other than waiting for the hub to be assembled or the punya axle tu. Okay? But some of the things that you can do it simultaneously. Okay? Contoh. Definition dia kata apa? The CE or Concurrent Engineering is a systematic approach to the integrated product development that emphasizes on the response to customer expectation. Still they get the feedback from the customer, but he or they have integrated it and do it simultaneously. But the one usually in the concurrent engineering, to be at the safe side, what people will do is actually they do the concurrent design using the simulation software dulu. So they can do simultaneously, they can play around with it, then later only they come up with the actual prototyping tu. Okay, siapa yang heading this concurrent engineering? Okay, it is actually according to Panel and Winner in 1989, it says that concurrent engineering is a systematic approach to the integrated concurrent design of products and their related processes, including manufacturing and support. And this approach is intended to cause the developers from the very outset, very beginning, to consider all elements of the product life cycle from conceptual to disposal, including cost, schedule, quality, and user requirements. So, what are the functions of the CE teams or concurrent engineering teams. Okay. First, distinguishing the character of the product. Okay, you may have the product but you have to distinguish the character dia. Maksudnya you can start to classify. For one car product items, distinguishing the character of the product. Satu untuk parts yang for the axle and rotating, for the engine parts for example, for the interior design parts, and then for what else? For the workability dia ke? Okay. So you have to distinguish. So analyzing the product functions tu, each of the functions of the product you analyze. So siapa yang involved in the car design? Yang F1 apa tu? In the design tu. Can you explain to me that whoever yang involved in the car design team, you all dah buat dah kan last semester ke? Design 2 tu. You all buat apa design 2? Can share with me or not? Maybe you all can share here in this class.
Madam, I would like to share.
Yes.
If you don't mind.
So how do you divide in the car design tu? How do you divide in terms of its function?
We didn't make the car project, but instead we did the drone.
Alfik ke?
Yes, Alfik.
Oh, saya punya ni speaker perlahan, sorry. Okay. You divide macam mana?
No, actually we didn't do the car project, but instead we did the drone project.
So, you divide into the transmission design contoh.
Yeah.
Macam tu lah.
Yeah, we had the motor system and also the body.
Sorry?
The body of the drone.
The body design, then?
And then we had the attachment on the drone body, which is the carrier, because our project was
so the chassis lah.
Yeah, chassis. Yeah.
The chassis.
Yeah. Because the drone that we did was to carry the medicine from medical institutions due to the pandemic, right? So most of the patients have the difficulties to go to the medical institutions. So we provide a solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So some of the activities you can do concurrently kan? You can do simultaneously kan? So some of the activities you have to wait until the other stage completed, then only you can continue. Betul tak?
Yes.
So that is actually what they are doing is actually already fall into the concurrent engineering punya activities. Without you realizing it, you are actually practicing it already. So by right, when you go through this syllabus or these slides, it will help you to enhance and to reinforce your knowledge of the concurrent engineering ni. Okay, you akan patut senang nampak lagi. Okay? So it will guide you to become more, I would say that systematic whenever you come across any new assignment ke or product activities ke for you in future, katalah you dah kerja besok ke, at least you know that the one that you are doing is actually has got its own term, nama dia concurrent engineering. Okay? So who are the main player or the practitioner of this concurrent engineering? Okay, kita tengok sini example. Dia kata Boeing Chrysler, dia ada buat ni, a concurrent process carried out by the multi-functional product development team. So intended to replace the sequential development. Sequential is more on the wait and see. You wait for the process to complete and then you go to the next process, sequential. So they avoid potential quality problems by integrating the upstream and downstream functions in the preliminary design phase. Okay. So, but one of the main means ataupun the instrument that people normally use for the concurrent engineering is the simulation software ataupun simulation product to assist them in doing the concurrent engineering tu. Okay. So these are the list of the companies or institution that is actually adopt and adapt the concurrent engineering. Tengok NASA team, the European Space Agency, so the lab for the instrument design, CNES, Boeing. So they are all the one who is actually practicing the concurrent engineering. Sebab tu dia boleh ni very, in terms of dia punya research and development, very aggressive. Okay. Now, so under the planning tool, so you have seen the house of quality, right? So now, the idea, the mechanism or the work behind the house of quality tu is actually for you to come up with the customer requirement list. You can use either one of these tool. Affinity diagram you can use for actually doing the brainstorming and do the classification of the customer requirements. Then for you to do the ranking kan dalam house of quality tu ada ranking requirement tu kan. Ingat tak? You can base on using the tree diagram. And then to find the relationship amongst the elements in the customer requirements tu, you can use the interrelation diagram and also matrix diagram. So these are all the tools that you know, but you perhaps you did not realize that it has got its own specific term for it. Okay. So let's look at the affinity diagram. So it is a tool that helps you organize lots of ideas in a very efficient manner. So it organizes ideas into natural groups, ensure that all team members' skills are utilized, so logical layout of the ideas, and offers a way to ensure that you have considered everything. So the more complex the issue, the more applicable the affinity diagrams. So contoh dia kat sini Step number 1, macam mana nak create affinity diagram? Step number 1, generate ideas. So this one you can do brainstorming in a group of people. So in a group of people. So display ideas. How do you display? You can use the post-it. And then step number 3, you start to sort ideas according to the classification there. So create the header cards and draw the finish diagram. This is an example. Kalau saya tunjuk, you pun juga kata, alah ni je. Okay. Ini contohnya. So you brainstorm lists of ideas. Katalah you did not get the customer requirement based on the survey. Somehow you do the brainstorming among the experts that you may have in your organisation. So katalah Ali bagi idea ni, Abu idea ni, Noria bagi idea ni, Liz bagi idea ni, Izzati bagi idea ni. You just letak je. Whatever that come across your mind, you don't restrict your mind dulu. You just letak. Later only you come up with the header tu. So, maybe this idea comes under the easy to use. This idea maybe comes under economic. So you start to classify all those ideas into its natural group. Yang you boleh nampak tu. So by doing so, it helps you to do the assessment tu systematically. Nampak selama ni maybe you buat, but how to analyze all this information? So with this, I hope that it gives you or it strikes an idea in your mind that you can actually use any of these method to complement whatever or to help you to do whatever analysis with your data that you have gathered for your project or whatever, okay? So next. So this is another example of affinity diagram. This is after they have done the brainstorming, then they start to do the necessary grouping dah. Okay, lack of knowledge, so data collection, lack of planning, ni organization issues, lack of follow up. So these are all the ni lah. They put under this, okay. So next, this is another problem ataupun another affinity diagram that they use to do the brainstorming for the bakery business expansion. Okay, product variety, this and that. Okay, now. So you have all the points and you have classified into the groups according to each natural punya grouping. Okay, but any of these elements show its interconnection tak? Ada tak? Tak ada kan? Kalau in affinity diagram, it does not give you any relationship. It does not reflect to you any relationship from one element to another. Now, for you to further analyze the data or the information, another way of doing it to narrow down your analysis to by doing the interrelationship diagrams. Okay, so macam mana dia kata, just draw the line to show all the different interrelationship between the factors, areas or processes. So why are they worthwhile? Because they are actually make it easy for you to pick out the factors in the situation. Sebab the one that having the most arrow out from its nodes, NODE, node tu, that means that will be the key factors or the source of the problem. So the one that having the most arrow into it inwards, that means that will be the key factors yang contribute, yang tu source, tadi source, yang tu key factors will be the result of the problem. Okay, kita tengok. So kat sini tengok drug usage. Dia kata example interrelation diagram of urban poverty. So urban poverty, so kemiskinan di kawasan bandar. Okay. So drug usage. Dia kata drug usage, so dia akan implication dia kesan kepada the school. School get worse, attendance very poor. So drug usage will result to the people who can afford to leave the community. Sebab banyak sangat crime punya, criminal punya case. Okay. So dia kata drug usage also akan result to the gangsterism. Now, so here also there are youth gangs. Youth gangs akan result into the high crime rate. Property values akan fall. Orang start to go out from the area tu. Because they don't feel safe to stay in the area, okay? So dia kata school also get worse. They are sharing the same cost there. So for you to analyze from here, to know what are the key driven factor, you tengok the one that having the most arrow out of it. So here you are tengok drug usage and the gang youth ni having 3 arrows. That means these two are the key driven factors there. So the results, you tengok at the one that having the most arrows pointing towards it. So you akan tengok ni, tengok apa? School get worse ada 2, property falls ada 2, leave business, leave the area pun ada 2. So that is the factors affecting it lah. Okay? Faham tak? Okay? It looks so simple and yet it gives you an amazing output ataupun result, findings. Okay? Because from there you can start to narrow down. Okay, so to create the interrelation diagram, you must agree on the issue or the question tu tadi. How does the gangsterism actually affect the employment contohnya, affect the property of the house. So you must agree on the question, then you post the question, then you find the result there. So add a symbol to the diagram for every element involved in the issue. You tambah-tambah lah, okay? So compare each element to all others. Use an influence arrow to connect all the related elements, okay? So basically dia kata apa? The elements with the most outgoing arrows will be the root causes or the drivers. Yang paling banyak arrow, that means dia adalah the root cause. The ones with the most incoming arrows, yang banyak arrow masuk pada dia, be the outcomes or the results. Faham ya? So saya akan suruh you guna method ni nanti. So when to use the interrelation? Bila nak pakai? When you are trying to understand links between ideas or cause and effect relationships, such as when trying to identify an area of greatest impact for improvement. Kat sini, kat mana you guna ni? In the house of quality, kat mana you guna ni? Siapa perasan? Dekat house of quality, kat mana you pakai ni? Dekat rooftop tu kan? Yang tempat yang triangle tu. You are actually looking into the same element.
Nombor 6.
The technical nombor 6. Dia nombor 6 ke? Saya pun tak ingat nombor berapa.
Interrelationship between technical descriptor.
Okay, saya tengok balik So, and escape nombor 6 Saya tengok. Okay, dia patut kat atas, just before the roof tu. Ke atas. Because another one in the middle is the matrix diagram. Here. This is actually the interrelation. Nombor 6 Siapa nama tadi jawab tu? Saya pun tak ingat.
Saya Nick.
Ni, nombor 6 ni
Betul.
Dah check dah.
Betul. Interrelationship between technical descriptor.
Okay. Technical, okay. Betul. So kalau dalam illustration ni, it falls under the kategori nombor, kalau kat sini dia panggil ni, nombor 6 Nombor 3 ni, kalau kat sini nombor 3. Technical requirements. Yang ni interrelation, yes. Nombor 6, betul ni. Okay. So dia very interesting tau. All these are all actually applicable. And then, so when to use? Bila you nak tengok interrelationship. Next is actually tree diagram. The tree diagram is actually the one that you use to do the ranking tadi. So you have the interrelations and then you have the classification from the affinity diagram, but none of these tools actually gives you the information in terms of ranking. Nampak tak? So the tree diagram is actually helps you to do the ranking using the necessary approach macam ni. So dia kata apa? A diagram used in strategic decision making, valuation or probability calculation. So the diagram starts at a single node with branches emanating to additional nodes. Okay? Simple, and yet it is so, I would say that it helps you and it guides you to make a conclusive decision. Kat mana you tengok tree diagram ni? Other than in this example, where do you see this tree diagram punya usage? Kat mana you tengok? Siapa masih ingat? Siapa masih ingat? Kat mana you tengok ni? Other than this example, where do you actually see this tree diagram? Siapa ingat MEM678 under the MRP? Dia ada buat product tree kan? Ingat? Bila saya sebut you ingat kan? You ada buat MRP calculation? The product tree? They are actually using the same idea, the tree diagram. Even the organization chart also using the tree diagram. Faham? Ah? So actually you have been using this method with or without you realizing that it is actually called the tree diagram. Amazing kan? So ni contoh dia. It helps you to give the ranking so that you can prioritize. Once you put that particular element as a priority, so it helps you to do the necessary ranking. You boleh letak scale, weightage, 5 ke, 3 ke, 1 or not related at all. Kalau ni free float macam ni, not related, that means you boleh letak 1 or maybe 0. Okay? Bila nak pakai? So when you want to break down vaguely formulated customer wishes about a product into customer requirements on a manageable level, okay, or to investigate all possible aspects of customer wishes that present a problem. So sometimes what the customer want does not necessarily you have to fulfill. You have to check also whether it is actually practical and applicable ke tak for the product tu. They may want everything under the sun, but whether it is practical and applicable ke tak, okay? So the tree diagram is used to show the relationship between a topic and its components element, okay? This is an example of the tree diagram to improve customer satisfaction. So dia nak reduce waiting time, provide entertainment, reduce cost, tell more on the saving products, unique. So you letaklah buatlah the content tu. Okay. Next is the matrix diagram. Where do you see this matrix diagram in the house of the quality? Kat item number? Ni, item number mana ni? Ingat? Dekat section yang mana? In between the?
Hello.
Yeah.
In between 6 and 4.
6 and 4 kan?
Yes.
So, these are the actually, whatever that you have seen here is actually all are the one that you can utilize. You can, is actually what we actually expose to you is actually the one that you can adopt and adapt later on to build the house of quality tu. Okay. Sebab tu dia kata tools for the development. Okay, the improvement tool for the development stage. Yang ni lah, matrix diagram is also one of the tools that you can use during the R&D stage. So it helps or allows you many to many comparison. Maksudnya dia boleh tunjuk banyak comparison. Okay. The relationship tu, you can connect item 1 dengan item A, B and E, item 2 dengan ni, and then even though you do just a simple notation like this, but it gives you a very systematic and presentable punya way of data presentation. Nampak teratur, tersusun. Okay? And it is understandable. The more importantly, it is acceptable. So, tengok sini. This is how they mix the analysis, qualitative plus the quantitative. Okay, now they just put in terms of high, medium and low in terms of relationship. The next level that you can go, this is only reflection in terms of the qualitative. Just high, medium and low with no indication in terms of the weightage. You can actually quantify this. What you can do, high ni boleh letak 5 contoh. Medium you boleh letak 3 and low you boleh letak 1. So bila you dah letak, start to quantify, it is much easier for you to come out with the final conclusion. Nampak tak maksud saya ni? Easier for you. In your design pun sama, in your project pun sama. You can do the matrix analysis ni. Okay. So this is another example. Dia tunjuk in terms of the color coding. Pun boleh, no problem. Must, should and maybe. So you can put also based on this must, should and maybe ni, you can letak the weightage also. 5, 3, 1 ataupun 10, 5, 1 ke, whatever. Okay. So this is matrix diagram under using the 3D pula, boleh compare, so macam-macam. So L matrix, T matrix, X matrix, macam-macam lah. Ni T sebab macam gini shape dia. L ni sebab macam ni L, and ni L ni. Sorry, ni X. Ni L ni sebab ni. L ni macam ni je. So, okay. Now, kita dah come to the improvement tools. Saya promise you saya akan stop at 4 o'clock. Okay, because kata dah janji lecture 2 jam je kan? Tak lebih kan? So, kita habiskan sikit lagi continuous improvement. So, just now, under the research development, you can use 4 types of tools available. Apa dia tadi? Anybody can recap for me? Apa dia tools yang you boleh pakai? Cepat. Siapa-siapa saja. Atika, ada Atika sini. Izati, ada Izati. Please name those 4 tools that we have already gone through just now. Okay.
Matrix diagram.
Satu lagi.
Affinity Diagram.
Lagi.
Interrelation Diagram.
3 diagram.
3 diagram. 4 tu The 4 basic tools that you can use during the research and development punya stage. Now, after you have done the research and development and the product is already mass produced, go through the mass production, you want to monitor the process. So this known as the continuous improvement tools. So these are the continuous improvement tool, aka 7 QC tools. Pun ada diguna pakai juga. Okay. So contohnya kita akan tengok nanti check sheet, scatter diagram, cause and effect diagram or Ishikawa diagram, Pareto chart, flow chart, SPC, histogram. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Histogram ni is another one kat sini. Bukan bawah SPC dia satu by itself. Okay. Pareto and histogram. So check sheet. So the defect concentration diagram. So I just show you the example of the check sheet. This is the one that I normally use. Previously I was an engineer in the several manufacturing companies. Saya dah kerja dengan a few companies. So this is an example of the very popular and classic traditional example of the check sheet. Okay. Kata apa? Contoh. Ni. Memang kita akan pakai yang benda ni. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapi kita tak pakai 5 macam ni tau. 1, 2, 3, 4 slash jadi 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So bila saya slash tu jadi 5. Faham tak? Yang ni guna kayu-kayu macam gini je. Stick ni susah tau ni. What I normally did for the company, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bila sampai 5 I slash. 1, 2, 3, 4 slash. That means senang nak kira 5, 5, 10 macam tu. Faham? So if you introduce the check sheet to the operators, so you can use this format. Okay, this is an example. So this will help to record the defects according to its criteria. Before you can come up with this check sheet, you have to know what are the common defects that you always come across in the production for that particular product. Macam in this case, it is about the engine katalah. Okay, the engine. Okay, motors assembly check sheet dia kata. Dia kata supply part rusted. So on Monday dia ada berapa? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 Susah nak kira macam ni. Kalau 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slash. 1, 2, 3, slash. Senang. Ni ada 5. Ni ada 4. Ni ada 2. Susah nak kira macam ni. Okay. 20. So misalign well. Ada 3 dia jumpa on Tuesday. On Friday ada 2. So it is easier for the operator to record, and then it is easier for you to also quantify it. What if saya letak 2, saya letak 1, katalah 1, lepas tu 2, 3, misleading. Dia akan misleading in the sense that I have to put in detail. Katalah the first hour, second hour, 1, 2, 3. Do I need to total up, or do I need to, this figure is actually represent 1, 2, 3, 4, 124 ataupun 1, 2, 3, 4. Nampak tak? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1234 ataupun 1, 2, 3, 4. So misleading. For the single number, advisable for you to implement something like this. Okay. They have reason why they come up with this check sheet macam tu. So scatter diagram pula is a tool for analyzing relationship between 2 variables. Contoh paling senang between 2 variables. You rasa apa? Contoh paling senang between 2 variables. Katalah I am monitoring the attendance between 2 variables. What are these 2 variables? You think variable apa saya maksudkan tu?
Present and absence.
Okay. Saya nak monitor absenteeism lah. Tapi I am monitoring between 2 variables ni. So saya boleh letak the attendance, absenteeism still absenteeism. But since we have male and female, so there are the 2 variables kat situ. So you boleh monitor in terms of the female punya attendees dengan male punya attendees. So you akan tengok scatter diagram. Eventually memang you nak monitor absenteeism. But since you have 2 variables there, you can also analyze based on these 2 variables. Katalah early of the month baru dapat gaji kan. End of the month baru dapat gaji. But towards early of the month banyak absenteeism. But it happens amongst which population? Male ke female? Contoh. So you boleh tengok trend tu. So tu contoh dia. So dia kata one variable is plotted on the horizontal axis, the other one is plotted on the vertical axis. It can be also ni lah. Unless kalau you letak in the form of color coding, no problem. You boleh letak je on the same axis. But you can see the population itu, the pattern distribution. So the pattern of their intersection point can graphically show the relationship pattern pun boleh juga. Okay, vertical and horizontal. So most often a scatter diagram is used to prove or disapprove cause and effect relationship. Okay, itu satu. Okay, ni contoh dia kata strong positive relation, no correlation kalau sekumpul macam ni. But if I want to observe in terms of the absenteeism, I can see that the population concentrated sangat kat sini. Absent ni sekali tengok merah. Tengok merah tu alamak gegel. Bila early of the month punya dia amat absent. Contoh. So Pareto chart. Pareto chart is the one that having a very distinctive punya character whereby you will arrange the most or the highest rejection will be in the first pillar. Okay, the most significant will be in the first pillar. Dia bukan ascending dia descending cara penyusunannya. Contoh ni. The highest rejection or the highest complaint comes from the documents complaint. So the highest you put in the first pillar, followed by the second pillar. Also, they can put another graphical illustration by using the cumulative-nya data. So cumulative ni, now for the first pillar of course it will be here, starting here. But for the next pillar, cumulative, you add on this figure to this one. So dapat sini. You add on lagi, dapat sini. So dia akan show the ascending punya ni lah ascending punya trend. Faham So far faham 5S practice. Tak ada 10 minit lagi. Saya nak tunjuk 5S practice ni. Okay, kita tengok 5S practice. It is very common. So dia kata seiri ataupun sort in English, sisih. Throw all unwanted rubbish. Seiton, set. Set, susun. Organize. Okay. Set everything in proper place for quick retrieval and storage. Seiso, shine, sapu. Clean the workplace, everyone should be a janitor. Maksud it's just a common general punya cleaning sahaja. There's no systematic or specific content in it. You see anything rubbish on the floor, you just pick up. That is under seiso. Okay. Shiketsu pula standardization, seragam. Standardize the way of maintaining cleanliness. This is another level of seiso, whereby this you can see mostly in the activities that in the production. Kata you dah start label, katalah check sheet. The initial check sheet before you commence or start the production. Ataupun dia panggil autonomous maintenance. You go to the machine, katalah you are the machine operator. You go to the machine, you check. First, you tengok cooling system dia, coolant. Ada tak ada? Cukup. Ada level dia. Okay, tick. So, dia dah ada checklist dia. And then you tengok dia punya pressure. 1 bar. 1 bar indication, 1 bar, tick. Betul, tick. Just tick, tick, tick. That is another level of the cleanliness and standardization. That means you seragamkan activities tu, you start to classify into its category and its function. Shitsuke is actually sentiasa amal when you dah membudayakan dia. It's part of your life. It's part of the way of your life. So dia kata helps in the all walks of life, and then it also makes the everyday problem too, if previously is not visible, it is make by practicing 5S, it will make it visible to all the problems yang related to the yang perhaps yang contributing to the main other problems. Okay. So dia kata seiri. So dia kata the act of throwing all unwanted. Yang mana yang tak nak tu buang. Okay. So don't keep everything. Yang mana unnecessary just eliminate or throw it out ataupun rearrange it. Letak tempat lain. So seiri still. So dia kata seiri, how do you do it? Activities, discard things we don't need at all, eliminate causes of dust and grimes. So you letak, kalau kat rumah you ada benda-benda macam piala apa, tak ada makna pun. Sometimes it's good for you to keep it in the enclosed punya area rather than for you to do the dusting every now and then kan. Check for leakage and scatter, so on and so forth. Okay. So dia kata seiton or orderliness is all about efficiency. Dia kata this step consists of putting everything in an assigned place so that it can be accessed or retrieved quickly as well as returned in the same place quickly. Okay, can you give me one example? How can you implement this seiton? Contoh. It's very simple. Semua orang boleh buat ni. How can you implement the seiton ni? Siapa boleh bagi saya contoh cepat? Kita nak habis cepat ni.
Susun kasut. Susun kasut.
Susun kasut. Lagi satu. Kalau tools tu, you boleh buat apa? Tools tu. You nak susun
buat line.
tu, you buat
Line.
line ataupun the image of the dot tu kan? Image of the tools tu. Katalah on the floor ke, on the wall ke kan? Ataupun you label. You label on the wall, scissors here. You letak dekat dinding scissors. Lepas tu you letak satu envelope masuk scissors dalam tu. Lepas tu you letak envelope, pliers, envelope. Ataupun you letak hanger atau hook, simple hook atau hanger. You just letak the image of the tools tu. hammer kat situ letak gantung. So everyone knows where to return the tools, and then you can access to it also easily. Should set the target. It takes you only a few seconds to retrieve and to return. Okay. So that is under Seiton. Ataupun dalam drawer you, katalah you are organizing your stationaries, pencil, pen, disusun, dah letak dah. Kan ada organizer dia tu untuk pen merah, pen biru, pen hijau, eraser, susun. That is Seiton. Okay. So dia kata apa? Activities involved under Seiton is clearly defined place for everything, placement and zoning marks, eliminate leads and blocks. So 30-second retrieval times. Maksudnya it takes you less than 1 minute to get to the parts and to return the parts. Itu dia punya target dia. And another activities that involve under the Seiton is actually you do zoning. Katalah you letak zebra line, that is also part under the Seiton because the activities is about clearly defined place for everything. Faham? So Seiso pula dia kata the third step is 5S is actually everyone is a janitor. Maksudnya you tukang sapu, tukang cuci. Tak kira siapalah. If you see garbage ke, rubbish ke on the floor, you just pick up. There's no specific activities for it. You must keep the place clean. Tu saja. Cleaning is everyone job. Okay? Tu bawah kategori Seiso. There's no specific rule as long as it is about cleaning the space. You nak eliminate all the garbage or rubbish. You tengok ada tools on the floor, immediately you take the tools and then return to its place. You tengok ada wire on the floor, you immediately you retrieve the wire and then susun at its place. That is about Seiso. Okay, activities. So you boleh buat quick drills, you boleh buat gotong royong cepat, okay? Cuci-cuci. And then Shiketsu pula is standardize the cleanup. Consists of defining, this is the fourth step, defining the standards by which personnel must measure and maintain cleanliness. Yang ni yang saya cakap tu about the checklist. Yang ni specific task. Not all people can do this. Only certain people at its own area. Let's say the machine is actually, you are manning the machine and it is your responsibility to look after the machine and its area. You cuci dia, you make sure dia punya the coolant, dia punya oiling semua okay. So you clear all the dirt, all the dust, okay, that is your responsibility. Ada checklist dia. So under Shiketsu, okay. So macam ni oil labels, danger markings, warning colours, yang tu you make sure lah. Fire extinguishers. So what she could see, Shitsuke. So the last is tadi Shiketsu. In Shitsuke ni, you amalkan dia. Becoming the budaya kan. That's Shitsuke. Last but not least is actually membudayakannya. So this is an example of the 5S, condition, environment dia. Example of 5S. So kita ada seminit lagi. Example 5S. Example of the 5S. Ni yang tadi tu. Ni bawah apa ni? Kategori mana ni? Kategori mana ni? Cepat guys. Seiton. Bukan syaiton ah. Seiton. This is Seiton tadi. Seiton. Okay. So this is also bawah kategori. Malah nak sebut. So this is organized. Same. Di bawah kategori yang sama. Ini nampak yang saya mention tadi. Tools ni. Tak sini. So with this, kita habis topik 3. Wow. Habis. Ada soalan? Ada soalan? 1. Ada soalan? 2. Ada soalan? 3. Saya tak bagi break hari ni ya. Sebab dah pukul 4 dah pun. So, kalau tak ada soalan, you all masuk future, tengok bawah learning activities. Kita try out learning activities 1 or 2 ya. Kita tengok bawah course summary. Halo.
Okay.
Tidur tahulah petang-petang kan. Saya pun lagi lah penat bercakap tak berhenti ni. So learning activities, kita tengok bawah activities. Saya dah masuk bawah MOOC ni. So you look under the topic 3. Tengok activities apa yang you all boleh buat. So dia kata yang ni apa? 3 diagram. Dia kata what is 3 diagram? A diagram used in a strategic decision making, valuation or probability calculation, allow a many-to-many comparison, tool that gathers large amount of language data ideas. Yang mana satu? Yang mana satu ni?
Yang pertama.
Cuba bingo. Ya, pandai. Siapakah itu dapat bintang dia?
Yes.
Okay, kita try nombor 2 pula. Dia kata QFD. So the step 1 apa dia?
Identify customer need.
Okay, kita ambil ni. Step 2? Step 2 apa dia?
Translate.
Translate into technical.
Okay. Step 3?
End product.
End product.
End product specification.
End product spec. Betul ni Saya tak tahu. Lepas tu?
Process design.
Okay, lepas tu process planning. Okay. Siapa rasa betul, siapa rasa salah?
Betul.
Correct. Pandai, 5/5. Bagus. Last,
Yes.
sendiri lepas tu buat sendiri Cost of quality. So dia kata apa? Cost related to reducing, preventing such as quality improvement training. Yang mana satu?
Prevention cost.
Prevention cost.
Okay, Ctrl C saya letak sini. Betul ke tak? Okay. Next dia kata measuring, evaluating. Appraisal Ctrl C.
Appraisal cost.
Ctrl V. Internal failure, reward scrap. Okay. Kalau macam ni salah tau, tak ada I. So external cost. Tengok Apa salah? Bismillah. Ya, pandainya awak. So, the rest buat sendiri, consequences of poor quality. So, ini boleh buat you buat sendiri. So, kalau tak ada apa, kita end the class, make sure that you, so apart from that attendance, saya juga akan suruh you log in your attendance using the forms yang saya share tu. Mana dia MEM678, okay. You need to use the Google form tu juga. Okay, sebab ni siapa ni? Siapa ni? Tak boleh join? AL ni siapa?
Madam saya dah masuk dah tadi.
Kan saya dah buat dah auto join.
Tak tahu dia macam keep requesting je tadi.
Ya ke? Lepas tu sampai sudah tak masuk?
Tak dah masuk dah.
You masuk through your future boleh kan?
Tadi you picture dah. So saya ikut.
Oh, you future yang minta you masuk access?
Tak. Tadi you feature dia jam. Dia
Dia
bad
down.
schedule tu.
Itu masalahnya future ni kadang. So macam mana you boleh masuk tadi?
Saya tunggu lama juga tadi.
Oh ya ke?
Tapi dah masuk dah.
Sebab saya dah set dah dekat extension tu, students all kan auto join je. Tak payah tunggulah maksudnya. Saya accept. Okay. So sorry, saya tak perasan. Okay, so with that, so please log in your attendance also. I have shared the link in the WhatsApp group. And then please make sure you go to the U Future yang tadi yang baru masuk tu. Please go to the U Future. Please tick your attendance dalam U Future. Faham You go to the class online ni, pergi dekat attendance report and then click your attendance kat situ. Okay guys, faham ya? So with that saya end the session. Saya akan stop recording. So saya tengok kat chat ni tak menjawab. Allah kesiannya. Sorry ya, lain kali juga kawan-kawan tolonglah tengok-tengok sama. Saya kadang dah bercakap ni saya tak perasan pun. So saya akan stop recording and then kita tutup kelas kita dengan tasbih kafarah dengan suratul Asr. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wa asina insakum sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Amin. So
Amin.
kita adjourn the session. So saya tutup dengan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Selamat berbuka ya semua. Okay.
Waalaikumsalam. Selamat berbuka.
Terima kasih.
Try out the YouTube. Okay.
Okay, baik.
Terima kasih doktor.
So kali ni saya tak buat aktiviti sangat sebab the previous feedback